And as the trade truce between the U.S. and China takes shape, the U.S. is eyeing ways to combat China's dominance over rare earth and critical minerals. NTD's Melina Wisecup joins us now. Melina, good to see you. A report was released overnight on this topic. Give us the highlights.
Hi, Steph. Good morning. So this bipartisan report was from lawmakers on the House's Select Committee on the CCP. Essentially, it exposes how China is using predatory practices to dominate the critical mineral industry. Now, the key point is predatory. Here, China rose to dominance in the critical mineral space, not through fair competition, but through those practices, which has caused Americans to lose their jobs, their businesses, and jeopardize U.S. national security. Now, that's exactly what the regime aimed to do, was to force Western companies out of the critical mineral market and to hurt our economies. In the words of the China Committee Chairman John Molinar, as we saw last month with its rule on rare earths, China has a loaded gun that's pointed at our economy, and we must act quickly. Now, one example of how the CCP has done this is noted in the report through heavily subsidizing their suppliers and producers. Another predatory practice is that the CCP officials would lure Western companies to collaborate with Chinese companies and then sell their Chinese products below the market prices. This was to put Western competition out of business. Now, they also made use of a legal framework that gave the regime the ability to raise and lower prices to favor its national security interests. Now, this is an issue that officials have known about for quite some time, Steph, but the impact became more evident after the trade war started and CCP officials imposed export controls over critical minerals, minerals that are used in everyday products like electronics, medical equipment, you name it. But notably, military and defense gear, the production of those uses those critical minerals. Now, the group of bipartisan investigators predict that Chinese miners are expected to continue dominating this industry through 2030. As previously described by one congressman, this is our single greatest strategic vulnerability. Listen to what one of the congressmen on this committee said about it.
Since 2010, we have known that Western countries like the United States are dangerously dependent on China for critical minerals and rare earths. We have known that China is able and willing to weaponize its chokehold on critical minerals against adversaries like the United States. Despite knowing these dangers, the U.S. is no closer to achieving critical mineral independence than we were 15 years ago.
Now, Steph, as for how the U.S. should move forward here, the committee made a few suggestions. One is to appoint a critical mineral czar. Trump is already preparing to do this. They also proposed creating a strategic resources reserve similar to the Federal Oil Reserve. The committee also wants to create a critical minerals tax credit to encourage more production here in the U.S. But with that said, the U.S. also needs to strengthen its capacity to mine for minerals and expedite permits, which is a big piece of the equation that's been really difficult to do over the years due to pushback from environmental groups. Mining and recovery efforts discuss how to expedite permits while keeping those important safeguards in place to protect the environment. There will be a hearing next week on Capitol Hill diving into this topic specifically, so be watching out for that and have more details for you on that next week. Thank you.
Very important national security issue, Melina, and we have seen President Trump in recent months trying to increase deals with allied countries as well on this issue with trade. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Melina Wisecup.